Welcome back, y'all, to our third episode.
Middle-Aged Bros
Middle-Aged Bros Podcast, episode 3.
We're going to go over a couple different things today. We're going to start a new series. We're going to try to discuss different styles in the car scene. You have your hot rod guys, you have your mini truckers, your dedicated full-size guys, your lifted truck guys. So we're going to talk about each one of those over the next few episodes and just kind of, give our thoughts on it and what interests us about that style and what doesn't.
We're going to start calling out people name by name with squatted trucks.
That's right. Definitely going to call those guys out and tell them to fix their shit. At least, lift it the other side or lower the other side, one of the two. But right. Anyway, yeah. So just like we always do, man, just going to catch up a little bit real quick. I hadn't seen Nunu all week. So you told me you went to C10s in the city yesterday.
Yes.
Want to tell us a little bit about that? That show looks awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. So I think this is the 5th one they've done. They did 2 in 1 year one time, and then it just, when I was talking to the guy that puts it on, he was saying that it was just a little bit too much for them to do 2 in 1. But so C10s in the City is put on by my friends Rick Cheeseman and Sarah. I do not know Sarah's last name, but Rick is SQRBDY. He has a merch brand that obviously SQRBDY, Square Body, has Square Body C10. They both do. Sarah has they're both square bodies. I don't know years or anything, but anyway, C10s in the City is real cool. They put it on it's at the, I think I'm going to say this right, the Bicentennial
Centennial Park, yeah.
Centennial Park, where the Olympic rings are. So they did, that's where it's been going on the past 4. Well, they switching parking lots because they're growing so much, but it's in the, right dead in that parking lot. So, and so they're putting it on. It's all the proceeds and everything go to cancer funding for like women with, they have breast cancer, they have bills to pay, groceries to get, traveling, things like that. As far as what the proceeds that they make from the show actually they don't do trophies, no trophies. It's like a big cruise in with vendors. You hang out all day. Really cool atmosphere. Nobody's like getting upset over judging and trophies and things. So they do it for the cancer research because Sarah a few years ago had breast cancer, and that's big with me. My mother-in-law had breast cancer twice and beat it. A friend of mine that I used to work with, she had breast cancer a few years ago and beat it. So breast cancer is kind of a big thing. It hits me in the heart real good. But so it's, I think they said this year, I don't know if this is true, but I want to say somebody said around like 500 to 700 trucks.
No shit.
Yeah, it was huge, and it's anything, any truck, Chevy truck only, from 40s to all the way to I think 98. They cut it off because it's OBS trucks, so that's 88 to 98. It's they added S10s and vans this year, so it's S10s. I'm not sure if they cut it off for the round body styles or they left the round body styles in. I didn't see any round body styles, but I didn't see a whole heck of a lot of S10s period this year or vans, but that, like I said, they just opened those up, so maybe next year there'll be more of those. But there were some super clean S10s that I did see, and a couple vans. So it was a really cool show, really pumped to get back. I haven't been to a show all year, out of town, so I was really pumped about it. Normally I set up a booth, sell my New J stuff there, but I did not this year. But I did do a donation for their auction they have, and it was like the C10s in the City logo, and then the Olympic rings behind it. So
super cool looking too. Sent me a picture of it. Need to post that up on the page so people can check it out.
And I'll have some pictures posted from some pictures I took at the show. And maybe I'll put the video up on our YouTube channel as well. So really cool show. I didn't stay as long as I liked because the heat was getting to me, but
yeah, it's fucking ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's a show that's open literally to every Chevy truck from 40s until now. All the 3100s were there. Seen several of those. Several square bodies. Really, really cool. Like I said, no trophies. So if you want to go next year, it's not going to be. Don't be looking to get a trophy or judging or anything like that. But
is there an entry fee to get in? Just to park in the?
No, it's totally free.
Wow, that's even cooler.
Just
take donations.
Several vendors there, so donations, and then they, like I said, they do the auction thing. If you want more information or sounds like something you'd like to look into for maybe next year, Rick at SQRBDY on Instagram, and C10s in the City on Instagram, and then United by Trucks and the Pancake Breakfast Club all will have video of the show for this year. But yeah, follow Rick at SQRBDY and C10s in the City if that sounds like something you'd like to go to next year. It's really cool. They had a big turnout this year. I'm sure next year will be even bigger. And I'm talking about I'm gonna have to post these pictures for y'all because it's like it's some super high quality stuff that was there yesterday. So
I know the few pictures you sent me were very impressive. I mean, there's some super nice car or trucks there.
I mean, guys coming from all over the place, all over the United States for this. So
what's really cool is, to me, it doesn't really sound like a show in the normal sense. It sounds more like a festival.
It's like and what they do is leading up to it, they have get-togethers like every month or every couple months or something where they like C10s in the City meet up, and then they'll have like little cruise-ins throughout the year. And then the night before the C10, they have a big like kind of party where they meet up or have I haven't been to this because normally I'm running late getting there. They have a big party the night before. It's at like either a restaurant or a bar or something like that, and everybody that's in town already, they come hang out. You're right. It's not like I say cruise in or show, but it's something different, It's more like a cruise in, but it's set up sort of like a show. It's definitely something different, and it's definitely like just the atmosphere is really relaxed. I mean, everybody's just kind of hanging out and talking with each other and having a good time, having a real good time.
Sounds like some of those old school mini truck shows we used to go to back in the day that they had trophies and paid to get in, but it was more about hanging out with everybody and being at the hotel parking lots and drinking and having a good time or whatever. But
right. So I want to add this. So my buddies in the Pancake Breakfast Club,
shout out to those guys.
They are super hilarious. But so at the show they're serving pancakes all day.
Oh no shit! That's hilarious.
So I mean, they're there serving pancakes. They got the wives up there making the pancakes at their booth and all,
flipping the hotcakes.
Yeah, that's so that was really cool. Something a little different.
And tell us who those guys are, just for people that might not know yet.
Pancake Breakfast Club is Jeremy Churchill, Wesley Harden, and Trey Ballantine. I hope I got his last name right. And Aaron, I don't know Aaron's last name, but Mike Howe is part of Pancake Breakfast Club, but I'm not sure how he's going to fit in. He moved to Michigan a few weeks back, so I'm not sure how he's going to fit into the Pancake Breakfast Club now, but he's also a part of the Pancake Breakfast Club.
Cool. Now, are those all no regrets guys, or
Yes. Well, Aaron is not no regrets guy, and I don't really know much about Aaron. I do know that he owns the UBT Blazer. If you guys follow United by Trucks, but I don't really know a whole heck of a lot about Aaron.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, yeah, man. Sounds like an awesome get together, nonetheless, and look forward to getting those pictures up for people to check out. On our page and the New J page, or wherever you want to put them, just let us know where they're at.
I'll put them on the M.A.B. Middle Age Bros Facebook, and then I'm not sure about the video if it'll go up on my page or
just check it on your page,
or the M.A.B. YouTube channel.
Well, cool. All right. Well, let's move on to our big fancy new series on car scene styles.
Car scene styles. Okay.
So, being that you and I both, excluding our younger Honda days, both of us kind of grew up as mini truckers, if you will.
Yeah.
It was our shtick for the longest time, and you still own a mini truck. So I thought it'd be cool to start with mini trucks and just kind of talk about that stuff, man. Like how it's changed and. Sure. What it's about nowadays, because it's definitely a lot different than when, in the early 2000s when we started mini trucking, if you will. I remember back in, when I was a kid or, middle school, maybe early high school. That's probably more like middle school with those guys. That Mild to Wild Club, man.
Mild to Wild. Oh yeah, I remember those guys. Pink. I can't remember now if it's the pink or purple Mazda. That was like the first slammed mini truck I ever saw, and I remember seeing it. I can recall it to this day. I was with my dad, and we were riding in. I think his little S10 he had at the time, and we passed by the. Used to be the Sonic on Russell Parkway.
Yeah, buddy.
And the truck was there, and I guess the other guys were hanging out because we saw some other trucks, but that truck stood out to me. Extended cab, slammed on the ground. Mild to Wild on the back window, and I was like, man, I want a freaking mini truck. I want a mini truck now. So that's really like the first time, my dad was into vehicles, and he had a couple little mini trucks, but he was never about lowering them or anything like that. But that was like the first, and that guy had like that crazy, I say crazy, paint. It was painted, wild color that stood out, and it was just, it was hammered. I can't, and I can remember all that, but I could not tell you. I want to say it had chrome wheels, but I can't tell you.
I think they were chrome hammers, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to say, I can't recall the wheels that were on it. I can just see it in the parking lot in my mind, sitting in the parking lot and just being like,
oh yeah, the Sonic on Russell back in that day was the spot that all the cool rides went to.
Everybody
did. Yeah,
everybody hung out there before they closed it and then tore it down. But
yeah, well, there was some violent things happened there and other reasons and stupid stuff. But yeah, man, those guys, there was several of them, obviously, that used to see around town and just be like, holy shit, dude, that is what I want. So then we get into high school, and I started out with a Nissan hardbody. It was like a 91, I think, just black, and, lowered it, and nothing fancy on the wheels or anything. Like, I didn't have any money. I was a high school kid with a crap job.
Right.
But I did have, I did lower the truck and do some little dumb stuff. Tried to put a little, CD player, stereo stuff in it.
Right.
And, yeah, man, I just remember thinking that was the coolest damn truck in the world. And then,
yep. Back then it was, man.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as mini, even to this day, Nissans are still really popular.
Oh,
but back then it was like S10, Mazda, Nissan.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of them three trucks, in my opinion. Obviously there was Toyotas, but the Toyotas were a little bit more in price.
Yeah.
So I didn't see as many of those being customized,
No, it was Nissan, Mazda.
Yeah. And Nissan, Mazda, mainly.
And then S10s that was before S10s really blew up.
It was before, early or late 90s probably is just what I remember when everything was made for S10.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Thor Bros, when they came out, probably later 90s, I would say. I'm not sure.
Early 2000s.
Anyway, they had all, hell, he had a bolt-on rear suspension kit.
Oh, yeah.
You could get his control arms, a bag, some bag. So, control arms from him, some and that bolt-on rear kit, some bags, and some management, and your truck was laying frame.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yeah, easy.
There was a little bit more fabrication, figuring out how to bag a Toyota or a Nissan, or a Mazda or a Nissan. But Mazdas, Nissans, and they were a lot cheaper. There was probably not more of them made than S10s necessarily, but there was a lot of them made, and even like the 720s and stuff, they were. Back then, there was more of them on the road. Now you just don't see them very often. But
you could ride through Warner Robins and swing by anybody's pawpaw's house, and he probably had a Mazda truck sitting in the driveway that he's driven for 10 years or 15 years and just didn't want to get rid of. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, I remember that, and from after that, I got into a little Honda phase because it was the cool thing to have were little Hondas, and when you're getting out of high school and you have a nice little car, you
want to have the little flashy Hondas for the little chicks and stuff like that.
So we got into to the car club Joker's Wild for a while.
Yeah, we both had I started in Joker's Wild with my Mazda, and then I got the Integra.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, his Mazda was just this straight piped, slammed out standard cab Mazda. You could hear Nunu coming from one end of town to the next.
Yeah, a funny story. You say you could hear me, and that just reminded me of memories coming from one end of Russell or Watson or something. But yeah, so I got that truck and then put the header on it, so it was just header for a while. And then I finally got some, I forget what kind of little muffler and tip put on it, out the back. But yeah, for a while it was just straight header, so you could hear me coming from probably 5-6 blocks away.
I mean, it was ridiculous. Yeah, like everybody would be like, "Oh, here comes Nunu."
Yeah,
down the road,
Right.
But I mean, we phased out through a Honda phase, and I think we all went back to trucks after that. And
yep,
I dabbled a little bit in God knows how many trucks, man. I mean, I had that body drop Mazda that was.
Oh yeah, the one that at the Whitley show, the hot tub beat you or whatever.
Yeah,
so tell us that story. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I don't know if you guys remember, and some of you probably do. Whitley was a group that put on shows, at least in the Southeast, I think. I mean, they were all over the place, and so they used to have big shows out at the fairgrounds here, in Middle Georgia and Perry. And we're at a show one time, and I'm in the under construction class because, again, young, dumb, and broke. Trucks in primer, and it's a beat. The body was decent. It ran like shit, but it was body dropped. It was bagged on the absolute slowest air management setup you've ever seen in your life. It would take me 10 minutes to let it up and down.
Yep.
But anyway, we're at the show under construction class, and they go to give awards. And to be clear, I am not about trophies. I could give two shits about an award. But for whatever reason, this day, the under construction class was me and several other trucks. But the guy who won at this show was like a stock truck that mowed in a hot tub. I think it was an S10. So it's a round body S10 with a hot tub mowed into the bed of the truck. Nothing else. Maybe some wheels. But so they announced the awards, and this dude is like, he gives him the trophy, and I walk over to the guy, and I'm like, how the hell did this truck that mowed a hot tub in and has like some, wheels maybe, beat a body dropped truck, on air ride and all this, that, and the other? And the guy goes, "Oh, I didn't realize your truck was body dropped." I'm like, how the hell do you not really? It's sitting on the ground.
Right.
So he's like, "Oh, okay, man. Well, you're right. We messed this up. Here's a trophy, a first place trophy." So I take the trophy and I chuck it across the damn, building we're in, and like, I don't want this damn trophy, blah blah blah. And I was pissed, but just ridiculous that the judges couldn't, comprehend what a body drop truck was compared to some truck they thought was cool with a mowed-in hot tub. Just ridiculous.
That's so funny.
But
I totally remember that. And you guys, we say Whitley. If you've been around shows and stuff, you know what we're talking about. Whitley shows. They were something else.
They were a different caliber of. I mean, I think they had different judges every time, and these guys looked like they had no freaking clue what they're doing. But I mean, they were big. Like they'd be 2 or 3 buildings at the Perry Fairgrounds.
They were huge. They were to look back on that, they were probably like the Dollar General of.
Right. Yeah.
They had a lot of them, but the stuff inside wasn't the coolest or wasn't the best quality, I'd say. But
they had a variety show too, though. Like it was open to everything.
It was,
and then they had. The stereo part of it where they did the sound competitions and all that. So, I mean, it attracted a ton of people.
Right. But, and that's something we can get into as well, the stereo craze. And, I mean, I know lots of people are still in it, been in it, but...
Oh, I think it's still
remember,
going, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I remember that was like dang near one of the first things that you did. You got a stereo system. You and your buddy hooked up some big old box and threw it in the trunk.
Yeah.
Couldn't fit nothing else back there, but it's got 2 big old speakers, and you're beating the block down.
Well, I know, keeping on track with mini trucks, man.
Yeah, we're getting off track.
Those guys used to, cut the wall and make what do they call it, a pass through or whatever?
Blow through or whatever. One of them's a blow through and one of them's something else. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head.
Yeah, so they'd have those mini trucks with, no back wall to the cab, and then this sometimes a bed full of speakers.
Oh, yeah.
Just was everywhere they went, which is cool.
Definitely a big thing in the mini truck scene, but trying to get back on topic a little bit, talking about the Mild to Wild thing, as far as like mini trucks came from vans, from what I remember and understand, because the vans had the big murals and stuff like that. So the mini truck crazy paints and things like that started from there, and that's where all the truck runs, the camping truck runs came from, basically. Because the van guys were doing that stuff before, and so the mini trucks were, mini trucks in the 70s were basically, they're trying, the fuel craze was going on.
Right.
Everybody's trying to make something that saves fuel. So they came out with these mini trucks, and everybody's like, that's the next thing to customize, So if you look back at older mini trucks, like the older, like 60s and 70s, you see a lot of the wide wheels and stuff like that inspired from the mini trucks. But yeah, so the Mild to Wild, that was like my first memory, crazy ass memory of a cool mini truck, and being around here. It wasn't like I went to a show and saw all these, I was overloaded with these cool mini trucks. It was like here in my hometown where you saw hot rods, you saw, old cars or, older trucks. You didn't really see the mini truck thing was like something new. Because, I mean, I'm assuming that was like early 90s when I saw it.
It was early mid 90s. So you got to figure too, back then in our town, cars weren't as popular. Customized cars weren't not as prevalent. Like you ride around Warner Robins right now, you'll see 10, 15 things that are customized.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's not even counting like the kids with Challengers with rims on them. That's like actual custom cars.
Right.
I mean, old shit, new shit. It's crazy now.
Right.
Because when we were younger, we spent God knows our fair share of time in parking lots full of, with car guys, 15, 20 of us maybe. But now, I mean, you could probably, if you gathered everybody that has a custom car in town,
you're filling up the Walmart parking lot or better.
The mall, something like that. So it's a lot more popular now, and that's even with like lifted truck guys, Mustang guys, whatever.
I had to sit up and sink.
You have to shift his ass in the chair.
I had to sink. I'm sinking in my damn chair.
But yeah, so back on topic. After we got into the out of the Honda thing with the the back end of the mini trucks. Like I said, I went through several trucks from there, and I know you did too. You got your Nissan, that we worked on.
And it kind of shifted. Oh, not shifted, but you started out with trucks, and we we're like, oh, like you were talking about my Mazda, like what was the easiest, cheapest way to get that thing as low as I possibly could. I didn't care how it rode. I didn't care if it wore stuff out faster.
Right.
I didn't care if it made a lot of noise. I wanted it to look cool. So it shifted. You're talking about to the time when I had my Nissan and you had several trucks and things, your Frontier and your Trailblazer and stuff like that. So it shifted. It went from, that's when airbags and I won't say hydraulics, because hydraulics were cool, and we saw that stuff in lowriders, but it shifted to the mini truck time where it was like adjustable suspension. So then it was like fabrication. How can we get, we need a little lift to get drive, and then we want to lay still it was about it's still to this day about the lowest, as low as possible. So we were body job. So then that's when heavy fabrication came into play, making stuff, styling look cool, tube work, all the you had to make all the clutches and the brake stuff and everything still work, and because you had to drive that truck, you had to lift it up and drive it down the road, because you couldn't drive it on with the body on the ground. So it shifted a little bit into, okay, let's make it a little nicer. Let's do some fancier stuff. We were kind of getting older, so we were learning more skills and things like that. So we're like, that was kind of the next level, I guess.
Well, you wanted to keep up with the trend, for one.
Sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're at a show and you got a lower truck, it's still cool. But there's 150 bag trucks, and
now it's flipping back, or not flipping, but it's coming back around. You see a lot more just slammed trucks out there at shows, and they're just static, because everybody's reliving their glory days or their kid days or whatever.
Yeah.
But now the caliber of that is way nicer. They're getting an actual suspension kit from somebody and putting it on, so it rides better.
Performance is there at this point,
right? And then also you've got, you're not just factory color. It might be a static truck sitting out there in the field, but it's got crazy paint, crazy interior, crazy stereo. So it's still that caliber of, step up, but it's like, when you first get getting started, you don't have money. You don't know what you're doing. So,
I mean, but two, I think the reason a lot of these guys are going back to the static stuff now is adjustable suspension's not for everybody.
It's not.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of upkeep, and there's a lot of what ifs, because if you want a truck that you can hop on the interstate and drive, you can get that with a truck that has adjustable suspension.
Yeah.
But you have more risk of, what if you pop an airline? What if a compressor goes out? Bag blows, all that shit.
Right.
So if you got a static truck that it's 4-linked with coilovers, dude, you're driving that thing as far as you want, give or take.
Sure.
You get that performance, you get that stance you want,
right?
But you're a little bit more performance geared that way,
right?
A lot of those street truck, I think, more style.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see more of the coilovers and stuff like that in the full size trucks, but you're starting to see that come around into the mini trucks, and I think one big reason, obviously, it rides better. You're going to get a better ride. Anybody and everybody, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you have, you can go out there and road course anything.
Oh yeah.
You look at the Miata guys, that's like a 60 horsepower car that they go out there and they road course.
Yeah, they're ripping it up.
So I think that's part of it, but also you got to think about, these trucks are getting older. So suspension things are starting to get harder to find.
Oh yeah.
You're not able to go to O'Reilly's and just pick up that, whatever ball joint or bushing So now a lot of companies, I know with like the square body Chevys and the OBSs, because that's what I keep up with. A lot of those companies there's a lot of companies out there just making control arms. And obviously there's been spindles and companies with spindles all a long time, but they're making control arms now. So you're getting a ball joint that's something you could go to the store and get.
Right.
Bushings you could go to the store and get. So now it's a little different. You got a 4-link, so you don't have to worry about getting specific Mazda 92 Mazda leaf spring bushings. Mm-hmm. You can get a 4-link kit and then call the company and say, hey, I need to replace my bushings.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, the part number for that is energy suspension, yada yada yada.
Right.
So I think that's a lot of the reason you see that stuff nowadays too. Like I said, quality, you want to step up the ride a little bit. Adjustables, so it's still adjustable. You could still raise and lower coilovers all day long. So, and then, there's guys, like I was just saying, there's probably some guys out there that are road coursing a Mazda or a Nissan truck.
Dude, I've seen many trucks on Drift Channel, like on the Drift stuff, just out there ripping it up. Mini trucks are definitely a culture, but that culture is not, I'd say specific to how it used to be. Like, mini truckers were bagged or hydraulics, body dropped if they could, big wheels, paint and, custom. And those guys, you could spot a mini trucker a mile away because he had black socks that were pulled up to his knees,
dicky shorts,
a hat with a flipped up bill, and a fucking black t-shirt.
Yeah, some mini trucking,
yeah, like a drop 'em wear shirt or whatever. You could spot a mini trucker at a show, dude, from a mile away.
Yeah.
And those guys were always fun. That that you could guarantee that at the hotel that night there was going to be some beers, there's going to be some nice shit in the parking lot, and a bunch of cool ass dudes to hang out with,
and a lot of shenanigans.
Lots of shenanigans. We could get into stories about Greenville and
lots of stories on shenanigans at hotels.
I mean, just a brief snippet of a story. Me, Nunu, and another guy we used to hang out with hopped in Nunu's. What year was that Cadillac?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. It was early 90s, mid 90s.
So we're in this 2-door Coupe de Ville. We hop in this bitch and drive basically to Arkansas's border.
So let me give you a backstory on that. So a buddy of ours had a mechanic shop, and somebody came in there and was like, I don't want this car, I need to get it fixed or whatever. And they were like, oh yeah, it costs us much money. And the guy's like, I don't want to fix it. Can I just sell it? So he told me about it, and I was like, yeah, sure. How much do you want for it? And I want to say it was either $200 or $250. Mm-hmm. Plus, I had to fix the car, and it was it ended up being I want to say cam bearing. The gear on the end of the distributor that had sheared off, so I had to replace that. So that's how much money I had. I don't even know how much money I had to fix it, but I paid $250 for it. Literally, didn't even rotate the tires. I think I might have changed the oil. We jump in it and drive 9-10 hours to Greenville.
9-10 hours. Yeah.
I think it was actually like a 13-hour trip.
Yeah.
But it was only supposed to be like 9 hours.
Right. So
because we got lost.
So if you guys don't know, Greenville, Mississippi is literally a spot on a map that is nothing. There was like 2, maybe 3 restaurants in the whole town, I think.
Not much at all.
And,
period.
Not a place you probably want to ever go to unless you live there. Mm-hmm. But they used to put on Showfest, right? That's what it was called?
Yeah, Showfest.
Showfest. Huge mini truck, everything show.
Yeah. It was wild. Cruising at night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a wild show.
So the city of Greenville was essentially just a strip of
basically
four-lane road.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so the sides of the roads were hotels and businesses, and you could literally probably go 3, 4, 5 miles down the street, turn around, come back up, and the whole road is lined with people and cars. And so anyways, the point of this story was we hop in this car that Nunu paid jack shit for. Mm-hmm. No hotel in sight. We don't have any plans. We were just like, screw it, we're going to Show Fest because we wanted to go for years.
Yeah, no hotel. That's a good point. No hotel. We had no hotel booked. It was 3 of us.
And this is a town that doesn't have 1,000 hotels.
Right.
So but it has thousands of people in town for this show. So we're on a whim, hoping we can find a spot to sleep, know. And anyway, so we hop in this car, get over there. We get lucky and get a spot at a hotel, and met some of the coolest people in the world in the parking lot that night, out there drinking, some Coronas and busting beer bottles and racing shopping carts through the parking lot. Just you guys know how hotel get together. Young kid shenanigans shit.
Mm-hmm.
But another cool thing about that trip was Gas Monkey Garage was there with 2 of the or 3 of the baddest cars you'll ever see before they got popular.
The TV show,
right? I
think. Well, I'd say before the TV show, before they got popular for sure.
Yeah, definitely before they were TV famous.
Right.
But so and then on the ride home when we finally left town, we made it back to town and the caddy died, didn't it?
Okay, we made it back. Everything was good. We like a week later, we went out for like pizza or wings or something, and I drove it maybe 2 miles from my house, and it broke down and sheared that gear off again. Yeah. So I had to fix that again. But no, I mean, like, how lucky was that?
Oh, absolutely. Because we had people that were at the show that we knew, but I think if we'd have broke down on the ride back,
if we had broke down another 100 miles away from home,
we'd have been screwed.
Yeah. So that was, and it took us. I want to say we got lost coming back and not going, but we might have got lost going. I'm not sure.
I think we got lost somewhere around Columbus area. Heading toward Atlanta.
Yeah, somewhere around there we got lost. I think it was coming back, so we actually added miles to the trip.
Right.
And so it was lucky that we made it back, but that was a crazy. We got some crazy stories.
To this day, probably still one of my favorite shows.
Oh, absolutely.
And trips altogether.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Greenville Show Fest was awesome. I went to Tunica when it was at the casino one year, and it was pretty freaking awesome because I didn't leave.
Yeah.
Went there and stayed there. Stayed at the casino. Didn't leave. Food there, everything.
Right.
Like I think we went to Waffle House one time, but. Yeah, still awesome at Tunica, but Greenville was probably, I'd have to say that was my favorite car show. But I got to say, man, there's some nowadays that really want to fight that.
Well, that's one of those things like, Rezo out in California and Greenville at Slamfest. Those are like the grandpa shows for these guys that are putting on better shows now. Mm-hmm. But those memories, if you ask many truckers that are, 30s or older, and you talk about, Show Fest.
Oh yeah,
those dudes are like, "Fuck yeah, that show was the best."
Yeah,
the cruising.
They're gonna specifically tell you. They'll say, "Oh yeah, Show Fest Greenville or Show Fest Tunica." Mm-hmm. Because they'll say because, like I said, it was in Tunica for a few years at the casino. I can't remember the years or how many years it was there, but. If anybody's listening and you put on Show Fest, you need to bring it back.
No doubt, bring it back. There was the cruising and the strip was just the main draw. Just like Panama City back in the day, they had those shows on the right off the strip, but everybody wanted to cruise the strip till the cops screwed that up.
Well, that's what's so cool about mini nats now. Everybody, some people didn't even go to show; they just bring their truck to cruise the strip.
Yeah,
because you get, like Maggie Valley, literally the mayor one year was out sitting on the curb watching people cruise by, dragging and everything.
Why not? Yeah,
just like heck yeah. And Maggie Valley is a kind of a destination, so there's a lot of shows that go on in Maggie Valley. But you think about some of these other places, like you said, Greenville. Mini truckers one time a year. Who else is putting on a show in Greenville? Mini truckers are taking over that town.
Well, that was the thing.
And that was the fallback to it, because the locals didn't know how to act. But anyway,
but the town itself embraced it.
Right.
And they
did.
Because that brought in a ton of cash to that town.
They did. And that's what I'm talking about in Maggie Valley. The mayor just sits out there and he's smiling ear to ear watching those trucks ride by.
You know what I think is cool about that? When a town like that embraces the stuff that's happening, like the show, like when the mayor's sitting out there on the curb, people that are at that show and the guys and girls attending that show have more respect for the town because they know it's okay. Like, they're not going to do dumber shit.
Right.
And show their ass, because why would you? You can just do what you want to do. You can cruise, you can drag, you can show off your stereo, and it's cool. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a dumbass, because there's a lot of those shows where people were being dumbasses.
Oh yeah,
and screwed it up for everybody.
I mean, I'm not I'm not saying I was excluded from that.
I'm not either. I had my fair share of dumbassery.
We did all of that kind of stuff as well. So I'm not saying that we're saints or whatever, but we kind of did the same thing. But that is really cool when the town embraces it. Like, you go to Maggie Valley and you see welcome mini truckers or welcome mini Southeast Mini Truck Nats or whatever. Like the RA show, a lot of those hotels would have like hose and buckets and rags out so you can wash your truck.
Yeah,
at the hotel, So a lot of those places do, and I think, a lot of the mini truck, or you remember we used to go to like these local shows for sure, and they'd set us way back in the back corner.
Yeah, because it was kind of
we're like the blackballed or whatever you want to call it.
Damn kids with those trucks you can't drive.
Them hoodlums with them trucks you can't drive.
Right.
So I remember going, and so I think a lot of that is changed over the years to where obviously they're still kids, they're still doing stupid shit, and kids they're hell. Sometimes we get into doing stupid shit too, but
I can't expect kids not to do dumb shit, because that's what kids do.
Yes.
That's what we did.
So, but I think a lot of it's more appreciate where you're at, and that's what they do when you come and you have,
free reign.
Yeah, there's at mini. I keep using mini nats because I know some of the statistics or stats of it, but there's like 700 and some vehicles that enter the show. There's probably another several hundred or more vehicles that just come to cruise the strip.
Right.
And then there's probably 10,000 people that come, or maybe even more than that,
just
come to the show. So so you think of 10,000 people coming to a one restaurant. If all those 10,000 people ate there one time, how much money is that?
Yeah.
So, that's just to show you, like, and that goes with hotels and food and gas stations and little shops that have souvenirs. So you think about all that revenue that comes in. Mm-hmm. I hate to sound arrogant or whatever, but yeah, they should be thankful that we're there. You know?
There's a give and take, obviously.
Sure.
Because it's probably a strain on a town like that, because of trying to keep up with all of the people that are there.
Right.
But there's also that appreciation for the revenue that a show like that brings in, because there's a lot of these towns that are small, that low population, don't really have chain restaurants and franchises of this, and you probably won't find a Walmart there. You may find a Dollar General, because they're fucking 10 gajillion of those in our town alone. But you get a place like that puts on a show where you have 15, 20,000 people there that just come to bring their vehicles or spectate or whatever, vendors and all that. They're boosting the economy for that area.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
I will edit this out.
So, a lot of these, we're kind of I don't know, we pretty much got
getting
off talking.
Sidetracked, as we always do.
That's because that's what we do when we're just shooting the shit like we always do.
Yeah, we don't. We're getting off topic of our mini truck styles. I think we only talked about not a whole lot.
We have memories to share of mini trucking. That's what we did.
Well, and those we're bringing up these things about certain trucks or going to the show or whatever, and then so we get sidetracked and want to talk about this memory so you understand some of the
moral of the story. A fucking mini truck is any truck that's not a full-size truck, right? So,
well, and that's the thing. Yeah, you say it's not a full-size truck, but man, as much as I'd like to say no, a mini truck is a mini truck, but there's so many trucks out there that have. And there's cars. There's like the imports.
Okay.
They have that mini truck style.
Style, yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to be technical, we are talking style. If you want to be technical, though, the definition of a mini truck is whatever, right? But the style itself.
I think the definition of a mini truck is an attitude, certain attitude.
Yeah, I'd say that it's definitely a vibe or a style.
Because I feel like you could be a mini trucker and not even have a mini truck. You could have a freaking Yugo,
right?
But
you're right because if you
got that, let's get it, let's figure it out. It's gonna have to work a certain way,
and I want it as low as possible.
Yeah. Then that's a mini truck to me. A mini trucker to me.
Yeah, because like you said, those guys back in the day where they'd have their Honda just raking the freaking gravel off the ground on air ride and stuff like that, and it wasn't a Honda in the Fast and the Furious sense of a Honda. It was more of a mini truck style Honda, and the full size guys, same thing. They have that more mini trucked style to their build with the elaborate suspensions and the graphics and paint and all that. So, I mean, it's definitely the style is easy to recognize. And, a lot of those guys that have been doing it for 20, 30 years are still, still doing it to this day. They just, your truck club is full of guys like that. I mean, none of those guys are 18-year-old kids anymore.
No,
but
most of us are old.
Yeah, I mean, you mid 40s.
30s, 40s probably.
Yeah, you got a mini truck, a little Isuzu that's body dropped on big ass wheels, and air ride, and you're an older dude now. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But it's a lifestyle, man, that I think is probably a little more appreciated now than it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, because it's like we said, go to a show back then, we'd get chucked off in a corner, and the older guys were fucking those kids, those damn. Why would you do that? Yeah. And there's still guys like that are like, you can't drive that truck. Why would you do that? Oh, that thing looks broken. Whatever, But a lot of those guys build them for purpose, dude. They're building that truck. Yeah, it's low. Yeah, it can lift up and down, but I can still use it as a fucking truck.
Yeah,
which I think is cooler than the guys that have the bed necessarily that. The elaborate suspension's cool. I like it better if it's tucked under like a lift-gated door in the bed floor or something,
Right.
So you can still see it, but I can still throw shit in the back of my truck if I need to.
Right.
Unless you're a, trailer queen that, doesn't see the light of day. But, yeah, I mean...
Well, and now, too, I think the times are so changed, and the older guys that are like that were like that, are seeing how much work and how much passion that a lot of us are putting in these trucks. They're like, we're pulling up to a show and you've got this elaborate paint job and this crazy fabricated suspension, crazy super nice street rod interior.
Yeah.
Big nice billet wheels, just like it's the form of a hot rod,
Yeah,
it's so. I mean, I think a lot of these guys are like, oh, okay, yeah, they're really doing something with these trucks, So I feel like that time. I mean, I know there's still guys that are out there that are like these stupid, mini truck guys. These things aren't even cool, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's every style,
and that's every style, But I think a lot of it's like. We've grown up, and now the older guys are were like that 15, 20 years ago are seeing us pull in a show or whatever, and they're like, man, this truck is really, it's holding its own, it's winning trophies or whatever.
Well, the other thing too about, mini truckers that are our age is you can start to afford that shit you wanted in your early 20s now.
Well, yeah, a lot of us are, I don't have kids, but a lot of us, are coming back around. So they obviously started getting maybe they, went from the mini truck that was the standard cab Nissan. Well, now they got a kid, so they moved into a full-size truck,
right.
or they moved into a Cadillac or a Lincoln or something.
Right.
And now the kids are older, so they are coming back to those small trucks, and because they don't necessarily need to tote the whole family around to shows or whatever. So a lot of that, and then during that time frame, they've built their skill up so much.
Right.
So now they're doing that crazy suspension work, and they're good at geometry and laying out a good suspension and making it work well, doing what it should, but performing as well as it should as well. So a lot of those guys are top notch in their skill level. So I think that's a lot changed too. So I think the older guys that were trash talking or whatever are now they're like working hand in hand with those mini truck guys, or they're working, the older guys may be retired, and now they're going to those younger guys getting their work done because they can't do it anymore or whatever.
Well, if two dumb schmucks like me and you can build a back half out of box tube that doubles as an air tank for the suspension, it just takes a little effort, man, to learn this stuff and perfect it, because nobody's perfect. No truck is perfect. I guarantee you that the nicest truck out there has a flaw somewhere.
Oh yeah.
For example, just to touch on the not perfect shit, I remember years ago in Orange County Choppers was the big show on TV. This has nothing to do with mini trucks, but it's an example. Those guys were like, oh my God, everybody wants an Orange County Choppers. And then they brought that one to Macon for air gas, and you looked at it and think it's a piece of shit. You look at all the junk welds and the obvious thrown together for TV bullshit. But, the more you work at it, man, I mean, we have tinkered and built God knows how many different things that may or may not have ever seen the road, but everything got better as we went along. And like you said, these guys that we've been doing it for 10, 15 years, they're really good at it now. And so it's very cool to see the evolution of mini trucking from the just hammer that thing on some ICW 15-inch hammers to, is that a S10 sitting on 24s on the ground with this just gnarly suspension and paint? Like, it's just crazy, man. And then even the newer trucks, like the Colorados and the Canyons and anything that they put out, somebody's going to bag it. Like, I mean, it's like the first thing somebody's figuring out how to do. These guys that have a truck that has 2 miles on it, fresh off the dealership floor, and it's already laying on the ground with huge billets. Like, it's crazy. But that style, man, it's something that we've lived for a long time, and still kind of feel that way about how our style is still more mini trucker than anything else. I mean, even in my car, we go to shows, or we'll see somebody's car and be like, man, that thing, I love it. I freaking love that car. Only thing different I would do is lay it out. Yeah.
Put it on
Craig's car.
Yeah. Craig, one of our buddies, Craig, has a really sweet little hot rod, and it's super cool. Super cool. And but I love that car, and every time I see it, I'm like, man, that thing will look just bitchin'. Just the door, that sheet metal just laying on the ground.
Yep. You open that trunk, and the rear, all you see is rear end in the trunk. So
I mean, we're always like that. Like we talked about, and I think the first episode was like all about that low or whatever, like
kind of who
airbags, it's kind of who we were or who we are. Any and everything is, we're like, we want to lower that shit or put it on, body drop. Let's body drop it, or that thing will look so much better if it was laying on the ground. So, but I know we got off topic on the style of mini trucks, but.
Well, we discussed being a mini trucker, if you will. I mean, our experiences in mini trucking.
That title may need to change.
Yeah, we might have to,
But
our life and times as mini truckers or some bullshit like that.
We'll touch back on the mini truck stuff probably at another episode as well.
Probably talk about it every episode because that's who we are. But
yeah, I'm sure it's have some stories somewhere in there. But I know we're getting long-winded here, so
if you heard my cup just then, I don't really give a shit because I'm thirsty. No offense to the guys who heard it and mentioned it. Thanks for the feedback, but it gets thirsty after 50 minutes of talking. So
we're in a
appreciate you.
Sweatbox of a hotel in Mexico.
It is fucking hot in here, dude. Like this humidity and this heat is just killing me.
Yeah, we're trying to. It's funny that he mentioned the cup thing. We're trying to we're both sitting here trying to be still and not move because these mics pick up everything. Seems like so we're try not to be making a bunch of extra noise.
Yeah, it's like we have some thousands and thousands of dollars worth of sound equipment, but really it's like $300.
Yeah, it's like we got
picks up everything.
We got duct tape on some stuff over here. And
right. Yeah.
So we're trying, guys. Just bear with us, please.
Just hang tight. So just before we go, man, I know you wanted to talk about some upcoming shows.
Yeah. Actually, dude, I just thought about something when you we were talking about C10s in the city. So I know you got the pizza oven for Father's Day. How did that turn out?
All right. So those of you who don't know, I have a 7-year-old daughter. So for Father's Day, one of the gifts I got, I enjoy cooking because, we're both big boys. We like to eat.
Yep.
So I've got grill, smoker, so my family got me a pizza oven. It's a wood-burning, portable pizza oven that you can cook like a 12-inch pizza one at a time. Super cool. It has little fold-out legs. It's kind of like you would take it camping almost.
Okay.
So it's really cool. Comes with a cover. You don't have to take the smokestack off or nothing. So it's got this weird-looking cover. It's really cool. Anyway, huge learning curve for this shit, okay? Made homemade pizzas, had homemade pizzas my whole life.
Right.
You make the dough, you throw it on the pan, you top it up, and you throw it in the oven.
Right.
Well, this, you have to physically slide it into the stove because it's like a stone inside. So you're stone baking pizza with a wood fire.
Right.
So, the first one we tried, man, we slide the spatula under there and the whole pizza just
wrinkles up.
Yeah, wrinkles up. So, okay, we need to add more flour. The dough's too wet, So, either way, we made 4 pizzas. One of them made it in the oven.
Okay.
I made a barbecue pizza.
Ooh, nice.
Barbecue sauce for the sauce, pulled pork all over it, cheese, cooked it in the oven. They need to be thin to really do this, so it was a little thicker than it should have been, so it wasn't you think of wood burning pizza, you think crunchy.
Crispy.
Yeah, so it was a little more like a pan pizza almost kind of thing. Anyway, the taste was good.
Right.
Cooks really fast. You gotta, constantly rotate it so you're not burning the edge.
Okay.
The reason I know this is because the second pizza that made it in the oven, just an old pepperoni, I didn't rotate it fast enough, so a third of the pizza was jet black.
Oh,
I fucking roasted it. Flipped it around and so there was it wasn't shaped like a traditional round pizza.
Gotcha.
It was more of a cluster because it kind of slid off wonky.
Got it.
But a third of the pizza was edible.
Okay.
So dogs ate that, but either way, cool stuff. Something to learn with and, just something else I can cook with the family or for the family or friends or whatever.
Yeah, you sent me the picture and it was check this thing out. I was like, man, that's cool. So anyway.
Super cool.
So a few shows we wanted to talk about, y'all. The next one coming up is going to be Southern Tradition in Canton, Georgia. It's July 12th through the 14th. It's at Etowah, I think I'm saying that right, Park in Canton, Georgia. It's open to any and everything, hot rods, bikes, motorcycles, mini trucks, rat rods, old cars, doesn't matter. Go check it out. My buddy Walker Frank puts that on, and that's going to be a fun time. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be fun. Next one I want to talk about is the Bear Drive. It's going to be at the Habersham County Fairgrounds, August 31st. Just a one-day show. My buddy Eddie puts it on, and for his Eddie Bear Foundation. Donate stuffed animals for kids at the St. Jude's Hospital. So that's going to be a great show. It's also open to any and everything: hot rods, trucks, cars, mini trucks, motorcycles, bikes, whatever you got. The Scout wheels, bring it, and I'm sure you'll have a good time.
So just for people that may or may not know, Eddie is the same guy that does or did Blood Drag.
Yeah,
this is now what Blood Drag used to be.
Yeah, he's changed Blood Drag. It's now Bear Drive instead of Blood Drag. So Eddie Sabreco. Eddie, I hope I'm saying your name right there. But yeah, check that show out as well. Like I said, August 31st. It's a one-day show. So come out and support these shows that are doing great out here.
Yep.
You got any shows you want to talk about?
Not for anything coming up in the next few months, but Pharaohs are putting on a show in November. It's going to coincide with the Big Perry swap meet. It'll be like a 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. ish show. Charity proceeds are probably going to go back to the Humane Society again. You're going to have Slim and the Gems there playing some rockabilly music. There's going to be a cutoff on the show, I think 94 and older.
Okay.
They wanted to be classic, but, technically now, a 94 is an antique.
Yeah.
With the tag office. So
94 is 30 years old, buddy.
Yeah, dude. So that's the only one I can think of right now. Okay. I'm sure next episode we'll have more shows that are popping up.
Oh, yeah, as the summer goes on.
Yeah, man, the heat. It's always when the shows are in the heat. I know. Never understood why we couldn't just have some fucking shows in the wintertime. Yeah. Then everybody could.
Well, nowadays, show season never ends, really.
Yeah, that's true.
They have shows all year round.
I personally prefer the colder weather shows myself.
Yeah,
That show, we went to a show last weekend put on by the Central Georgia Drag and Drive.
It was a night show.
Yeah.
But it was like 100 degrees.
It was at 6 p.m. It was still 100 and some odd degrees, and it was in a parking lot that was just radiating heat. I would have loved to have stayed longer, but had kids with me, and man, it was just too hot.
It was.
But it's still a good turnout for Michael Mayo and his group. So yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here. And
well, let me last thing. I'm gonna push these stickers until I die, you guys.
Oh yeah.
We have our big stickers with me and Jay and our his Buick and my Isuzu on it, and we're cartoon characters. We have those for sale.
Badass.
For $8 per sticker. All of the proceeds go back to the Humane Society. That's our charity that we're working with right now. All of the money goes back to them. We don't keep any of it. So if you guys are interested in those, please send us a message. We don't have any kind of store or anything, online store or anything like that, but please send us a message. Let us know if you want one. We can get you one, either mail it out to you or see you at a show and we can get it to you. But also, if you see us at a show, come and holler at us. We have M.A.B. Middle-Aged Bros stickers as well that we do give away. So you guys that support us. So.
Right, just a little logo sticker, something small you can toss on the car.
A little logo sticker.
Toolbox.
That says M.A.B. and has Middle-Aged Bros on it. So we do get, like I said, we give those away. So just holler at us and we'll give you one. But thank you guys for listening.
Yep.
Our third podcast. Hopefully this will be, I think I'm gonna try to have it out by the holiday weekend so people can listen to it maybe before then. But thank you guys for listening. Again, follow us on social media. That's Facebook. We do have a YouTube channel with a couple videos up there, and on the YouTube channel I put our episodes up there as well. There's no video to it. It's just like a picture, or actually it's our sticker is on the just on the screen there, and it stays there the whole episode. But if you are sitting around and you got the TV close by, you can listen to it on the TV.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, we will holler at you next episode.
Yep. Take it easy.
All right.